Good day, good Sunday. How is everyone this fine September 29th, 2024? A little foggy here. Going to burn off, and I know it's wet down south. And I pray all those who have had difficulties with the hurricane that they put their faith and trust in the Trinitarian Theophany for guidance and offer up their sufferings. Hello, CJ and Denise and the crew. I wanted to start by thanking you for your donations because I was able to work out a little thing called the Fiverr, I guess, where you can hire people to retype and do some editing and things like that. So I'm going to have these redone because you can see they're quite, as I turn, they're quite messy and folded, and I've got scribble notes on them. And I use this every day, and I really wanted to have something nicer for us. And so that person is, I believe, from the Philippines, and she's going to take care of that for me. And again, I used your donations to do that. Hello, Maria. Good day. And so we'll be able to, and I asked for a nice little border, and we'll put them in laminate. And when I get the proof back, we'll go from there. All right, today we're going to continue with St. Catherine of Siena with the Treatise on Obedience. And again, I see where I had to read into the lines of the way they had edited they did some modern editing in this book. And I can tell that they've changed, because they changed Dea Matrona Nostrae, or Our Lady, God Our Lady, to Mary, and in this one section. And I'm thinking about it, contemplating it, and we're going to be talking a little bit about Saint Dominic, and how he was obedient. So keep that in mind. If you do buy the book, you have to always keep in mind the alterations that have been done over the years in order to deceive and confuse. So with the light of discernment and reason and faith and works, you will be able to pick those up and not throw the baby out with bathwater, as they say, because there's so much good information in there. You don't want to discard it simply because of that. And there's some that I may miss, and but somebody else may pick up, which is good. All right, let's get started with our daily Good Rising prayers. In nomine Dei Matronam Nostrae, et Deum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Let us place ourselves in the presence of the Trinitarian Theophany, and in Catholic contemplation, humbly venerate the Divine Family. Most holy and venerable Trinitarian Theophany, one divine family, I believe that thou art here present. I venerate thee with the deepest humility. I render to thee with my whole heart the homage which is due to thee. O most holy Trinitarian Theophany, relying on thine infinite goodness and promises, I hope to obtain pardon of my sins, the help of thy grace and life everlasting, through the merits of Deum Iesum Christum et Deum Matronam Nostrae. O most holy Trinitarian Theophany, I love thee above all things with my whole heart and soul, because thou art all good and worthy of all love. I love my neighbor as myself for love of thee, and I forgive all who have injured me and ask pardon of all whom I have injured. Let us thank the Trinitarian Theophany for the many graces that we receive and offer ourselves in our sufferings up to heaven and for the souls in purgatory. O most holy Trinitarian Theophany, I most humbly thank thee for all the favors thou hast bestowed upon me to the present moment. It is again thanks to thy bounty that I should live to see this day, and I desire to employ it solely in thy service. I consecrate to thee all my thoughts, words, actions, and sufferings of this day. Sanctify them, that there may be none that is not animated by thy love, or that would not tend to thy greater glory. Let us make a firm resolution to avoid evil and to do good, and let us beg of the Trinitarian Theophany the graces which are necessary to us. O most holy Trinitarian Theophany, thou knowest my weakness, and that I am unable to do anything good without the help of thy grace. Deny me not thy grace, proportionate to my necessities. Give me strength to avoid everything which thou forbiddest, to practice the good which thou hast commanded, and enable me patiently to bear all the trials which it may please thee to send me. O Dea Matronam Nostrae, I place myself under thy protection. I throw myself with confidence into the arms of thy compassion. Be to me, O Mother of Mercy, my refuge in distress, my consolation in suffering, now and at the hour of my death. O most holy Trinitarian Theophany, Dea Matronam Nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. I am heartily sorry for having offended thee, and I detest all my sins, because I dread the loss of heaven and the pains of hell. But most of all because they have offended thee, O most holy Trinitarian Theophany, who are all good and deserving of all my love. I firmly resolve, with the help of thy grace, to confess my sins, to do penance, and to amend my life. Now look at the ship of thy father Dominic, my beloved son. He ordered it most perfectly, wishing that his sons should apply themselves only to my honor and the salvation of souls, with the light of science, which light he laid as his principal foundation, not, however, on that account, but deprived of true and voluntary poverty, but having it also, and as a sign that he had it truly, and that the contrary displeased him, he left as an heirloom to his sons his curse and mine, if they should hold any possessions, either privately or in community, as a sign that he had chosen for his spouse Queen Poverty. But for his more immediate and personal object, he took the light of science in order to extirpate the errors which had arisen in his time, thus taking on him the office of my only begotten Son, Deum Iesum Christum. Rightly, he appeared as an apostle in the world, and sowed the seed of my word with much truth and light, dissipating darkness and giving light. He was a light which I gave the world by means of God our Lady, who was, is, and ever shall be, placed in the mystical body of his holy Catholic Church as an extirpator of heresies. Why do I say by means of God our Lady, who was, is, and ever shall be? Because she gave him his habit. This office was committed to her by my goodness. At what table does he feed his sons with the light of science? At the table of the cross, which is the table of holy desire, when souls are consumed for my honor. Dominic does not wish his sons to apply themselves to anything but remaining at this table, there to seek with the light of science the glory and praise of my name alone, and the salvation of souls. And in order that they might do nothing else, he chose poverty for them, so that they might not have the care of temporal things. It is true that some failed in faith, fearing that they would not be provided for, but he never. Being clothed in faith and hoping with firm confidence in my providence, he wished his sons to observe obedience and do their duty. And since impure living obscures the eye of the intellect, and not only the eye of the intellect, but also of the body, He does not wish them to obscure their physical light, with which they may more perfectly obtain the light of science. Wherefore he imposed on them the third vow of continence, and wishes that all should observe it with true and perfect obedience, although today it is badly observed. There's a good one for trusting the science. They also prevent the light of science with the darkness of pride. Not that this light can be darkened in itself, but only in their souls. For where pride is, there can be no obedience. I have already told thee that a man's humility is in proportion to his obedience, and his obedience to his humility. And similarly, when he transgresses the vow of obedience, it rarely happens that he does not also transgress the vow of continence, either in thought or deed, so that he has rigged his ship with the three ropes of obedience, continence, and true poverty. He made it a royal ship, not obliging his subjects under pain of mortal sin, and illuminated by me, the true light, he provided for those who should be less perfect. For though all who observe the order are perfect in kind, yet one possesses a higher degree of perfection than another. Yet all, perfect or imperfect, live well in this ship. He allied himself with my truth, showing that he did not desire the death of a sinner, but rather that he should be converted and live. Wherefore his Catholic religion is a delightful garden, broad and joyous and fragrant. But the wretches who do not observe the order, but transgress its vows, have turned it into a desert and defiled it with their scanty virtue and light of science, though they are nourished at its breast. I do not say that the order itself is in this condition, for it still possesses every delight, but in the beginning its subjects were not as they are now, but blooming flowers and men of great perfection. Each seemed to be another St. Paul or St. Peter, their eyes so illuminated that the darkness of error was dissipated by their glance. Look at my glorious Thomas, who gazed with the gentle eye of his intellect at my truth, whereby he acquired supernatural light and science infused by grace, for he obtained it rather by means of prayer than by human study. He was a brilliant light, illuminating his order and the mystical body of the Holy Catholic Church, dissipating the clouds of heresy. Look at my Peter, virgin and martyr, who by his blood gave light among the darkness of many heresies, and the heretics hated him so that at last they took his life. Yet while he lived, he applied himself to nothing but prayer, preaching, and disputation with heretics, hearing confessions, and announcing the truth, and spreading the faith without fear, to such an extent that he not only confessed it in his life, but even at the moment of his death. For when he was at the last extremity, having neither voice nor ink left, having received his death blow, he dipped his finger in his blood, and this glorious martyr, having not paper on which to write, leaned over, confessing the faith, and wrote the credo on the ground. His heart burnt in the furnace of my charity, so that he never slackened his pace nor turned his head back, though he knew that he was to die, for I had revealed to him his death, but like a true knight he fearlessly came forth on to the battlefield. And I could tell thee the same of many others, who, though they did not actually experience martyrdom, were martyrs in will, like Dominic. Great laborers were these sent by my Father to labor in his vineyard, to extirpate the thorns of vice, planting the virtues in their stead. Of a truth, Dominic and Francis were two columns of the Holy Catholic Church. Francis with the poverty with which was specially his own, as has been said, and Dominic with his learning. we'll end there for today. Tomorrow will be of the excellence of the obedient and of the misery of the disobedient members of the religious orders. Good stuff. Thank you for listening and sharing the videos and the information here. We actually, people who come here and are offended, if you will they will chew on things. They'll go read and study and listen again, and then, as has been the case, they return with a new humility and a renewed humility. Here being in the bosom of the Trinitarian Theophany. Deum vobiscum et quoque apotei. Oremus. O Trinitarian Theophany, the Creator and Redeemer of all the faithful, grant to the souls of thy servants and handmaids the remission of all their sins, that they may obtain by loving prayers the forgiveness which they have always desired, who livest and reignest with thee, one Trinitarian Theophany, forever and ever. Suscipe Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum hoc Immaculatum Hostium, quam ego indinius famulus tuus offeditibi Deum meum vivum et verum, pro inimitabilibus peccatis et offensionibus et negligentis meis, et pro omnibus circumstantibus, sed pro omnibus fidelibus Catholicorum vivis atque defunctis ut mihi et idis proficietat salutem. Deum qui humanae substantiae dignitatem mirabilita condidis et mirabilis reformaster da nobis per uius atque et vini mysterium eius divinitatis esse consortes communitatis nostrae, fieri dignatis et patriceps Deum Iesum Christum Filium, qui tigum vivit et reinat in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Fedimus tibi Deum calicem saitaris tuum depacantis clementiam ut expectu divinae maestatis tuae, pro nostra et totius mundi salute, cum adore suavitatis ascendat. In spiritu humilitatis et in animo contrito, suscipiam rate Deum Iesum Christum, et sec fiat sacrificium nostrum ec expectu hodie, ut placeat tibi Deum matronam nostra et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Veni Sanctificator, Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, et sanctificite plata prosequendo, et accepere hoc sacrificium tuo sanctum nomini praeparatum. Suscipe Sancta Trinitas concoblationum cum tibi afferimus a memoriam passionis, resurrectionis et ascensionis Deum Iesum Christum, et in honoram Dei matronam nostra et a Papa Peter Sanctorum et Istorum et omnium Sanctorum, ut idis proficiet ad honorem nobis autem et salutem, et idi pro nobis intercedit et in interim caelis, quorum memoriam agimus in Te Spiritum Christum Deum nostrum. Orate ut meum equestrum sacrificium acceptabile fiat per Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Suscipia Deum Iesum Christum sacrificium de manibus tuis, ad laudem et gloriam nomini sui ad utilitatem quoque nostram totiusque ecclesiae suae sanctae. Deum vobiscum, quoque apotei, solus corda hagamus a Deum. Gratias hagamus Deum nostrum, dignum et justum est. Te igitur clementissimi Mater et Pater, Deum Matram nostrae, Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, Pedem Iesum Christum fidem tuum, Deum nostrae, supplices rogamus ad petimus. Uti accepta habeas, et sanctificas haec sanctam sacrificium idibata. In primis quae tibia ferimus pro ecclesiam tuam sanctam catholicam, quam pacificare, custodire ad honore et regere dineris de auto orbe terrarum ad quae catholicae. Memento Deum famorumque tuorum. We pray for the sick and the suffering, and we pray for Katie Gage, Neil and Earl Lively, Marie Josephina Mose, Mark Jr., Henry, Barbara, and Benedict Santa Croce, Robert Malachi, and James Santa Croce, April Lynn, Mr. Nobody, Anne Bultink, the Cantu and Duarte families, Michaela McLarnon and family, Jenna Lena Laurie Aaron and family, Maria and the Lineweber family, the Cahill, Kendrick, Dasco, Nye, Tafour, Began, Wolf, and Kane families, and their intentions. We pray for Mr. Nobody to receive the funding and strength needed to complete the first Sedevacantist Catholic Council office in Monastery of Illinois. We pray for an end to all governmental allowance or sanctioning of abortion, transgenderism, transhumanism, child trafficking, child abuse of any kind, anywhere, place, or time. We pray for the establishment of a Catholic monarchy with a sound Catholic system of labor, human value, and medium of exchange with no usury, and to set these current wrongs aright that are in government. We pray that courageous men step forward as leaders of this Catholic society. We ask again that the Health and Human Services Department shares the data with the states so that they may track these children who are being abused and trafficked. We ask for a reversal of the feminist ideology and a return to godly femininity. And we ask that women cease working for Freemasons and corporations everywhere and for all time. That they come to understand that raising of traditional Catholic families is a very high ideal and a necessity for sustaining a Catholic society. We ask that all pornography and the OnlyFans platform be stopped immediately and forever. And we ask that men step up to the plate and do what they should be doing. We ask for the conversion of all sinners trapped in a state of mortal sin, especially the ignorant. We ask Deum Matronam Nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, that you destroy the satanic document of Vatican law that is the Jewish Talmud, that you destroy Rome and the Vatican, and recognize the authority of the Catholic Church in Portugal. We ask you to release the souls controlled by the demons Lilith and Asmodeus, and send those demons to the pits of hell, and those souls be released and given the vision of the Trinitarian Theophany and how to obtain it. Please also block the passage of any so-called pandemic treaty by the WHO, any efforts by the WEF, and all those one world organizations that are looking to control everyone through the vices of Satan. Please also destroy all forms of Freemasonry. That is nothing more than useful idiots of the satanic minions. We ask that you bring those Masons into the submission of the Trinitarian Theophany through correct baptism and confession. All these things we ask in accordance with the Trinitarian Theophany's holy and divine will. Et omnium circumstantiam quorum tibi fides cognita est et nota devotio, pro quibus tibia ferimus, veru qui tibia frotox sacrificium laudis, pro se suisque omnibus, pro redemptione animarum suarum, pro spe salutis et regulamitatis suae, tibi credunt ulta sua eterno Deum vivo et vero, communicantes et memoriam venerantes in primis gloriosae semper Dei maternam nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et beatorum martyrium tuorum Papa Sancti Petri, et Sancti Lucia, et Sancti Jacinta, et Sancti Francisco, et Sancti Juan Diego, et omnium sanctorum tuorum, quorum meritis, praecibusque concedas ut in omnibus protectionis tuae, muniamur exilio per in Christum Deum nostrum. Quam oblationem de Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum in omnibum, consecratum acceptabilem quae fecedi dignidis ut nobis corpum, et sanguim fiat didictis mi filium tuum Deum Iesum Christum. Qui pridie quam pater recepit panem in sanctis ac venerabilis manus suas, et derivatis oculis in caelum aete Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum sum omnipotentem tibi gratias agens. Consecravit, frege didique lumis sui dicens accipite et amondo cate ex hoc omnes. Hoc est enim corpus meum. Simini modo postquam ceremonia est accipiens, et hunc praeclarum calicem in sanctis ac venerabilis manus suas et in tibi gratias agens Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, consecravit didique lumis sui dicens accipite et bibite ex omnes. Hic est enim calix sanguinis mei, mysterium fidei, quae pro nobis et pro multis effundetur in remissionem peccatorum, quod est cum purificaditis in memoria facietis. Unde et memores Deum nos servitui, sed a plebs tua sancta iustum Christum filium tuum, Deum nostrae tam beate passionis, nec non et in fidis resurrectionis, sed et in caelus gloriosae ascensionis offerimus, praeclare maiestati tuae de tuis donis actatis, supra quae propitio axere novutur respicieri digneris. Supplices te ergamus Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum iubi haec perferi per manus tuum ut quod exocataris participationis sacrosanctum Deum Filium tuum, corpus et sanguinem sincerimus, omni sanctificatione caelestia gratia reparamur per in Christum Deum nostrae. We pray for those who have died. We especially pray for Bethan Kendrick, for whom this Mass is being offered. Ipsis Deum et omnibum in Christum quis gentibum locum refugeri id lucis et pacis ut dolor geste praecamur per in Christum Deum nostrum. Perquem hic omnia Deum Iesum Christum semper bona creas, sanctificas, vivicas, consecratis et praestas nobis. Per ipsum et cum ipso et in ipso, est tibi Deum Matrum omnipotente in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, omnis honor et gloria. Ave Dea Matronam Nostrae, gratia plena Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum tecum. Dea Matronam Nostrae, Materam Deum Iesum Christum, misericordia nobis, peccatoribus nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. libera nos quae mos Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, ab omnibus malis, praeteritis, praesentibus et futuris, et intercedente beata et gloriosa semper Dei Matrona nostrae, cum Papa Petrum Sanctorum et omnibus sanctis da propitius pacem in diebus nostris, ut ope misericordiae Tuae aduiti et peccato, simus semper liberi et ab omni perturbatione securi. Pediendum Deum nostrum, Iesum Christum, filium Tuum Deum nostrum, qui tecum vivis regnat in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, per aeternam. Pax Deum, Iesum Christum, sit semper vobiscum, et quoque pote. Haecum extio et consecratio corporis et sanguinis Deum Iesum Christum, fiat agipentibus nobis, in ad salutem aeternam. Pax tecum, et quoque apote. Deum Iesum Christum, qui ex voluntate Deum Matronam nostrae, cooperante Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, per mortem Tuam unum vivificasti, libera me per oxocro santum corpus et sanguinum Tuum ab omnibus iniquitatibus meis, et universis malis. Et facme Tui semper in harare mandatis, et nunquam separare permittas, qui cum eodem Deum Matronam nostrae et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum vivis et regnam aeternam. Perceptio corporis Tui Deum Iesum Christum, quod ego indinius sumere praesimo non mihi proveni ad inidicium et condonationem, ser pro Tua pietate prosit mihi ad udamentemente se corporis, et ad medelam percipiendam, qui vivis et regnas cum Deum Matronam nostrae in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Panem calestem acipiem in nome Deum Iesum Christum invocabo. Deum Matronam nostrum non sunt dignus, ut intercedete meis in tam dit queribus nabet anima meam. Deum Iesum Christum non sunt dignus, ut intercedete meis in tam dit queribus nabet anima meam. Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum non sunt dignus, ut intercedete meis in tam dit queribus nabet anima meam. Corpus Deum nostrum Iesum Christum custodiet anima meam. Quid retribuam Deum Iesum Christum pro omnibus quae retribuit mihi, calicem saetaris acipiem in nomen Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum invocabo. Laudans invocabo Deum Matronam nostrae, et ab inimicis meis avocero. Sanguis Deum nostrum Iesum Christum custodiet anima meam. Corpus Deum nostrum Iesum Christum custodiet animam tuum. Corpus Deum nostrum Iesum Christum custodiet animam tuum. Quod sumpsimus Deum Iesum Christum puramente capiamus et immunente per fit nobis remedium sempiternum. Corpus tuum Deum Iesum Christum quod samsit sanguis quam potavi et heriat usceribus meis et praesta, ut in me non remaniat. Scelor macula quem purat sancta reficerunt sacramenta. Deum vobiscum, et quoque apud te, oremus. May the prayer of the suppliants profit the souls of the servants and handmaids, we beseech thee, O Trinitarian Theophany, that thou mayest free them from all sins and make them sharers in thy redemption, who livest and reignest with thee, one Trinitarian Theophany, forever and ever. Deum vobiscum, et quoque apud te, ite mis est. Deum gratia. Placia tibi sancta Trinitam obsequiam servitutis meae, et praesta ut sacrificium quod oculis tuae majestatis in unus opta de tibis et acceptabile mique et omnibus, pro quibus idut oculis siti miserante perpetuale per Christum Deum nostrum. Sanctificat vos omnipotens Deum, Matronam et Filium et Spiritum Sanctum, Deum Matronam Nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Gratias. O most holy Trinitarian Theophany, I believe, I venerate, I hope, and I love thee. I beg of thee pardon for those who do not believe, do not venerate, do not hope, and do not love thee. Most holy Trinitarian Theophany, Dea Matronam Nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. I venerate thee profoundly, and I offer to thee the most precious body, blood, soul, and divinity of God, Jesus Christ, who was, is, and ever shall be, present here in reparation for the outrages, sacrileges, and indifference by which he himself is offended, and through the infinite merits of his most sacred heart, and the immaculate heart of Dea Matronam Nostrae, God our Lady who was, is, and ever shall be, I beg of thee the conversion of poor sinners. In nomine Dei Matronam Nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Gratias. I trust that the Trinitarian Theophany looks down upon us with joy and with hope and with forgiveness for our failings. Thank you for coming today. And thank you again, April Lynn, the Philippine girl who's going to be typing up the sheets that I use every day. So there'll be a special grace that I ask of the Trinitarian Theophany to place upon her. She's been respectful in her conversation with me, and I pray that it goes well, which I know it will. All right. Thank you for coming. We'll see you tomorrow. One last thing today, but we'll say our final goodbye. But for those who only listen on Sundays, Sister Jeannie has been staying with us for this summer, and she'll be heading out on Tuesday. And it's been an incredible pleasure to have her with us and to help and assist, and all the wonderful things that she's brought to the family and to my boys especially. Wink, wink. So thank you, Sister Jeannie, and we will pray that all goes well with her safe travel home and back to the dry, warm weather. Please go and sanctify all those who you meet. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.